Welcome to the 5th lesson of Enterprise Quality Management course. In this lesson, we'll learn about quality documentation, how to write them and maintain them. Lesson objectives. We'll try to answer the following questions during the lesson. What are the needed quality documents? What are the elements of a quality system manual? What are organization quality records required to be maintained, that are required to be maintained? How to control quality documentation. There are 5 types of quality documents. The first one is the quality policy, and the responsibility of writing the policy is it is the responsibility of the top management. The second type is the quality manual, and this is written by the corporate quality team. The third type is the procedures manual, and this is normally written by divisional quality team. And finally, work instructions, which is normally written by work groups and team leaders. As quality professional, you will help the various teams within the organization in writing the quality documents as well as the quality manual. The quality manual should consist of comprehensive divisional methodologies to improve the quality levels of the organization in its day-to-day operations. The manual plans, procedure, and instructions make reference whenever appropriate to materials, products, mechanical, electrical, test specifications, and standards. All activities within the organization shall follow the procedure and guidelines prescribed for the activity. When variations are required for reasons beyond the organization's control, such instances shall be clearly identified with respective justifications. The quality system manual consists of minimum of 11 elements or areas, or chapters or sub-documents, as you would like to call them. The first one is the organization profile. The organization profile contains a description of the organization mission, background profile, services, and product portfolios. The quality policy, the second element is the quality policy and its objectives. The quality policy states or describes the overall intentions and directions of an organization with regard to the quality as formally expressed by top management. The third document is the quality plan. And the quality plan describes all the planned and systematic activities implemented within the quality system and demonstrated as needed to provide adequate confidence that an entity will fulfill requirement for quality. The purpose of this quality system is to present the objectives, policies, and methodologies identified by the organization for achieving targeted quality levels in its operations, processes, products, and services. The fourth document is the organization structure, and that document describes the organizational structure, procedures, processes, and resources needed to implement quality management system. The fifth element of a quality system manual is the quality system design. And that document provides a documented, comprehensive, and systematic examination of design, its capability to fulfill requirements for quality, identify problems, if any, and propose the development of solutions. The sixth is the quality system tools. the sixth chapter or sixth subdocument is quality system tools, and that includes equipments and IT tools you use to measure quality and report on. The seventh document describes the quality system implementation, and the eighth describes the quality control system. Quality control system involves operational techniques and activities aimed at monitoring a process and at eliminating causes for unsatisfactory performance. Part of the quality control system is the quality surveillance, which may include observing and monitoring controls which can prevent the deterioration or degradation of an entity or a process with time. The 10th subdocument is the corrective and preventive actions. The 9th is the quality system review, and quality system review is basically a formal evaluation by top management of the status and adequacy of the quality system in relation to quality policy and new objectives resulting from changing circumstances. The quality audit document is a systematic and independent examination to determine whether quality activities and related results effectively complied with the planned arrangements or comply with the planned arrangements. Quality audits are carried out by staff not having direct responsibility in the areas being audited, but preferably working in cooperation with relevant personnel. Once you have developed the quality system manual, the remaining documentation that you need to maintain is what we call the quality records. There are about 20 to 22 types of quality records. The purpose of these records is to provide objective evidence of the conformance to a quality system standard or quality system requirements. An example of the quality records include the introduction of a product or a service lifecycle, part of an enterprise quality management. Records to maintain include market research data, environmental research, the document proving the conducting of feasibility studies with performance metrics like total cost of ownership, cost benefit analysis, return on investment, and internal rate of return. Also, there should be documents, part of the feasibility studies, that shows that you have conducted enterprise-wide risk management and you provided contingency plans for your projects. Other quality records include requests for proposals from your suppliers and supply chain. Another document or another quality record you should maintain is the requirements definition, review, and approval by senior design management or senior engineers. A very important quality record that normally gets audited every time is the contract reviews. Contract reviews, generally you would have a documentation proving that you have done a review of the scope of the contract, so it would meet your project objectives. If there are any variations from the original contract versus the performed activities, it should be noted, and also the responsibilities and roles of both the supplier of services or products as well as the customer of the services or products. Contract reviews should provide adequacy and clarity of the information on the aforementioned scope of the project. It also should clearly identify the acceptance criteria if specified. It should clearly identify deliverables, identification, and feasibility of deliverable delivery schedule. If there are any special legal requirement or dispute clauses, it should be reviewed. Implementation support, warranty, and maintenance requirements should be stated if applicable. Also, protection of proprietary information, copyrights, and confidentiality should be taken into consideration. Contractors shall or contracts shall be accepted only if the risk associated with the control and all other specified prerequisites are met. Another very important quality records that usually gets audited is the project management documents. And the list of records that usually auditors look for include project description, an overview and life cycle description, list of customer deliverables, plans for configuration management and quality plan preparation, resource requirement, methods, tools, and techniques that shall be used to implement the project. Any task, activity, schedules that's involved in completing the project, subcontracting requirements, if any, and corresponding quality assurance technique, change control and change management when the scope changes or the deliverables change too. So if there are any project dependencies on other projects or contractors, then it should be also specified. System design control is also a quality record that is important to maintain. You should have a signature that shows it has been reviewed, the design has been reviewed and approved. Design documentation shall be signed by designated technical personnel for technical quality of the design, performance factors, feasibility for implementation or development, say if it is software, and conformance to the standards and guidelines of the internal standards and guidelines as well as industry standards and guidelines. Other quality records include the product and service development. In this section, the environment identified for the project activities as required by the contract shall be specified in the quality plan document. The project team will have access to these documents during the development phase for the service or the product development cycle. The product and testing, the product and services testing records should show a detailed plan for various levels of services, for the testing of various levels of services. Examples: unit testing, module testing, integrated system testing, and acceptance testing. Problem reporting, defect control, and corrective action procedures. For purchase controls, you would have records that describes the contract review, the approved subcontractor list, the approved vendor list, purchase request forms for inspection details, and detailed purchase approval forms. Also, you should maintain the documents for premises control, the environment in which the work and operations are undertaken should be selected and controlled so as not to invalidate the test results or adversely affect the required accuracy of services and measurement. Other parameters you'd consider is the location. Is it in a safe place? Is there a risk for a natural disaster? Is the premises space enough to allows you to operate at full capacity and expand if growth is needed? Are there enough energy sources? Is the environment parameters do not adversely impact the quality or the accuracy of the services and the products produced? Of course, you should have also health and safety documentation proving that you have taken into consideration the design of the premises in providing a safe working environment for your staff. Equipment controls. As for equipment controls, this section should provide an equipment list and should be maintained under the procedures required by the quality system. Access to and use of all test areas should be controlled in a manner appropriate to their designated purpose, and conditions of entry by persons external to the lab should be defined. Also in this section, any items of equipment which has been subjected to overloading or mishandling or has been shown by calibration to be defective should be taken out of service, clearly labeled and stored in specified place until it has been repaired. Calibration of equipment should provide reference to standards of measurement held that are used for calibration only and for no other purpose. Reference materials, where possible, should be traceable to national and international standard reference materials. As for delivery, I think we are somewhere about 10 to 12 in the order of the 12th document or so. The delivery should provide, of course, you should maintain always delivery receipts, whether you provide your customers with products or services or whether you receive products and services from your suppliers. For control of non-conforming items, the section should describe procedures that are defined and implemented to ensure that items that do not conform to specified requirements are tracked separately so they are not released accidentally or put into unintended use. Any products that are rejected or not approved after the corresponding review, testing, or verification activity will be treated as non-conforming. The document should cover the following activities: identification and tracking of non-conforming items, obtaining concession for temporary release, positive recall, and final release. Personnel training. Personnel training will provide information on the relevant qualifications, training, and experience of technical personnel, which should be documented and maintained. Procedures and guidelines are defined and implemented for identifying the training requirements in the organization and conducting training and maintaining those training records. Training can arise as a result of new contracts, new methodologies or tools introduced, or part of regular skills update program. Acceptance and project closure. You should always have, at the end of each project, you should always have an acceptance signature from stakeholders and to be audited and, of course, so you could pass the quality certification. Maintenance and support. It's quite self-explanatory. any upgrades to the system or products should be documented and maintained. The same thing with replacement and disposal of items, products, processes, and services. One important sample document that you need to maintain under the maintenance and support is the customer survey and customer complaints. This is very important in proving that you are monitoring your quality process and that you are taking corrective actions based on the feedback of the customer. Metrics and statistical analysis. An example of metrics and statistical analysis would be using, for example, in a telecom company, using network and services management software to provide automatic preset alarms and management trend analysis for various network parameters, including traffic congestion rate, error rate, and the like. The system procedures reference is outlined, should be outlined in vendor manuals, and you can always refer to it. You don't have to write the entire description of the network management software in your quality document, but you can always refer to it. Of course, the final two records is to maintain any internal audits that you have conducted and management reviews of those audits and actions, follow-up actions that has been taken. Before we move to the next concept, it's worth noting that quality documentation procedure should be short and concise as possible. No more than 5 pages. I'm talking about a procedure within a quality document, not the quality document itself. The quality document itself, the number of pages depends really on the size of the organization and the complexity of the business process. But whenever possible, try to minimize the text. You don't want to end up with huge binders that nobody can have the time or the will to read. The next concept, after we've learned how to write and structure your quality manual, and we learned what kind of quality records to maintain within the organization, we need to understand how to control those documents. For obvious reasons, you do not want to have an older document with older specifications being used for production process, which will result in a defective product or services. For documentation controls, the responsibilities for the storage and maintenance of quality records are defined and covers the following issues: custody, archival, issue change authority, access, retention requirement. Basically, it should always, critical documents like design and authorization should always be traced and always and should be in the custody of trusted personnel. Archivals, some documents should be archived for 1 year, some documents should be archived for 7 years, depending on legal requirement as well as the internal company quality standards. Issues and change authorities. A quality document or record should not be changed without approval from the manager or the owner of the process. Access, certain documents that have confidential information should not be kept open for anyone, and it should be properly controlled and secured. Retention requirement, it's the same as archival, and the retention can be in terms of the time period as well as the format. It can be in paper format, electronic format, and so on. Lesson summary. We learned what are the required quality documents within their organization, how to write a quality system manual, what kind of quality records you need to maintain within the organization, and how you can control those documents. For further research on this subject, you can always refer to ISO.org website or iam-edu.org. We come to the end of lesson 5 of quality documentation. For more information on this lesson, question and answers, reference textbooks, you can refer to UNINETTUNO University website and click on Medhat Younes section. Thank you and see you in the next lesson.